Hello, 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 my star children. Welcome once again to an indie showcase. This showcase is brought to you by the Indie Houses, and today's game, Norco, is a point-and-click adventure with some seriously spoopy vibes, and I'm here for it. So, let's not waste any time. I have to be very close to my set times today, so let's get a move on. Shield hid the stars behind halogen and flame projected onto the sky every night. There was no such thing as silence. The noise never went away. The refinery exhaled an endless sigh. I still can't sleep without that sound. You can sleep with any sound if it's repetitive. In your dreams, the towers were grand cathedrals, places of worship. The swamps hid behind mirrors like spies. The birds transformed into radiant spheres and traced omens above the highway blight. Ooh. You spent your adolescence sleepwalking between little devastating rituals. Though Blake pleaded, you decided to leave. I didn't care. But for a while you did. You caught out on a grainer to Chicago and onward to the West Coast. You'd never left Louisiana and thought you'd never return. You thought the ghosts of the lowlands wouldn't find you hiding along the road. Ooh, I'm liking the writing for this so far, and the artwork is spectacular. The years carried you through overlit suburbs of the vast American limbo, across mountains, above cell towers. Ooh, I like that reference. Thumbing down 99, you saw an old man crouched in a roadside ditch. He was mouthing your name. He had a familiar gaze. He was gone when you wiped the sleep from your eyes. You spoke to Blake, learning of your mother's declining health, her insomnia, her erratic behavior. You ignored the urgency in your brother's voice. By and by, you made your way east. You threw your phone in the Rio Grande. You joined the armies of the Mesa. For months, you were in the company of fugitives. You slept in nuclear tunnels, repairing engines and weaponry. Eventful life. The war was a meme that set Albuquerque on fire. You escaped while the foot soldiers of a pop-up junta bloodied the parched land, while hiding in the berth of a freight liner. I slept. You slept easily as the truck shuttled through the plains. You called home from a landline in a motel somewhere beyond Texas. You knew by the tenor of Blake's hello that your mother was already dead. You hung up, shouldered your bag, and returned to the highway. 5 years had passed. The ghosts were calling you back home. I really like the writing. The writing here is spectacular. Act 1, The Lowland Ghosts. You wake from a delirious dream to find yourself in your childhood bedroom. Home added to map. Okay. Monkey. Your stuffed monkey and longtime friend slouches on the desk. Your grandfather gave you a monkey when you were 3 years old. You conversed with him often. As you grew older, he became a reflection of your neurosis and guilt. He chastised you for becoming distant, for not showing him enough attention. Apologize to the monkey for leaving behind. 5 years, that's a long time, Kay. But your apology has remediated him of his worst fear, that you wouldn't speak to him at all. His hostile expression melts from his face. Your conscience compels you to take the doll along. Take monkey. I have a monkey. Monkey stares at you. You stare at monkey. Keep staring. He stares with more intently till his gaze passes through you. You become invisible to him. Little circles of light pool in the doll's tired eyes as they watch the infinite space beyond your being. The air that hangs between your eyes and his is a vacuum of utter stillness. You look away. Lost in a staring contest with a stuffed doll. Not shocked. flyer from a show your friend put on a few weeks before you left town. A fight broke out while one of the opening bands played. It got whipped in the face with a bike chain. You still have a scar above your left eye. After the show, you and Blake shot fireworks from the roof of a hotel on Pedras Street. Sleepless and sober, the two of you walked back to Norco. You watched the sun climb over the grain elevators. You assume Million, not Blake, has been keeping your mom's plants alive. You pick through the small collection of books and zines piled on the bedside table. You don't have to make it out alive. Pathfinding algorithms for everyday life. While there are simpler solutions to the maze, I found this rule set to be the most direct. Listen to the language of the crows. If there are woods down the street from your house dissected by a power line right of way, follow the power lines for an hour or so. Bring a knife. Let laughter be a measure of productivity. With the least possible effort, bluff your way into the halls of the powerful. Pay attention to the trees. Use them as both spatial and temporal landmarks. Flash your headlights on desolate stretches of road. The proto-disaster tourism began almost as soon as the floodwaters left. Punks from across the country ventured into the Ninth Ward, Gentilly, St. Bernard, and finally the East. They curated a theatrical self-portrait of their lives in the ruin. The aesthetics of disaster were central to that emerging milieu. It began to percolate into popular culture. Collapse became the zeitgeist. Wise investors recuperated the experience of the disaster. New Orleans became a plastic dystopia, a market for crisis. The pastiche of bygone decades has come to haunt our imaginations. The promises of modernism still hold our minds hostage. We must move through these aspirations, respawn as nightmares. Only then can we return to the task of cultural production unshackled by the purgatory of the nostalgia. Cool January air drafts through the window. The low sun washes the neighborhood in deep yellow ochre. A small flock of blackbirds dissolves into the obscure tree line towards the lake. Commuter traffic glints along Apple Street as a pair of wrens weave out of the overgrown lot next door. Laptop your parent grifted you idles on a shoddy particle board desk. Wait for the laptop. Screen illuminates. You notice the signal in the house is dead. No internet. Looks like Blake was using the computer at some point. He left a browser tab open. View the tab. Seeing this exact thing. Hope he's still here. Seeing face the section. Mods won't do a thing about shills, but they'll ban you on the spot for using naughty word. This place is a joke. ClearNet's nothing but libs, and bots. Just the name sound, full of lunatics. App's a way of getting you to join the cult. Worse than them, people living in the malls and can't trade that coin they use on hardly any exchanges because everyone knows it's a goddamn Ponzi scheme. Kind of name is Quack Job. Need cash fast. Install Quack Job. Use promo code LEAD for Quack Coin. Get some sleep. Well seen sun, bro. Relax. Looked like it was made of glass. Maybe it would glow real bright. The not all moved fast. Best pick I could get. Was not gonna say hello. Saw a big round glowing through the side. That's the sky. Mods are all SJWs. Place wasteland. Giant glowing thing in the sky. That's mostly what it says. Mine. Oh. You are home again because your brother needs you because your mom died. You are home again. Okay. We're traveling through the Midwest Freight cars rattled in the cold dusk as you crouched on the grainer porch. Cell towers peeked over the flat country, translating the notions of the world. The lights of the suburban Memphis, fences, the traffic, the stark shadows under a lavender blanket of clouds. Afraid, tired, silent, and alert at each terminal, you watched that night decay for many miles. Then what? You rode in the back of a van wedged between the amplifiers from Chicago to Des Moines, stole a heater from Walmart and brought it to the poorly attended house show. Des Moines to Kansas City to Denver. Friends went south, and you were glad to be alone. Spent long nights along the highways in a shitty sleeping bag. Bathed in rivers, you watched the ocean of outer space. You watched the satellites travel along their splines? Down the Pacific coast, summer days arrived. You built a bike in a garage in Eureka and took it south. Generator shows on the beach, interstate on-ramps teeming with personalities. The red-eyed smile on the face of an old man in the Central Valley ditch. Smile burnt an image into your eyes. Oh. Finish that. Smile of the man who crashed in the ditch. The highway was burned itself in your mind. Your brother is a lot. Younger, reckless, gets in trouble, spends sleepless nights scrolling image boards. An edgelord, a shitlord, a sensitive soul, compassionate, foolish, can't take criticism, always needs money, tries to help those he loves but often makes it worse. What else? Insecure, dysmorphic, constantly checks his reflection, always seeking validation, scared of being alone, was terrified of you leaving and now he's terrified of you dying. I'd feel pretty guilty. No love or anything like that. Guilt and obligation is all you feel. Your brother was upset that you left. He never got over you leaving. Your brother. Your mom died. The cancer metastasized. It was in her liver, then her lungs, then it was in her brain. She was on chemo. Never finished her third course. The hospice on Jefferson Highway. Blake said the traffic shook the building. He left before she drew her last breath, along with the morphine drip and the rattling glass. That's how Catherine died. Your mom. Okay. That was an interesting mechanic, to say the least. Sprawling Shield Industrial Complex. Long ago, it was a plantation land, cheap and abundant along the Mississippi River. The refinery grew in stages, slowly displacing the surrounding neighborhoods. The chemical annex came online later. The children of sharecroppers and the enslaved became the neighbors of this machine. Towers, carbon and alloy and stainless steel, alien monoliths. Among the columns, a catalytic cracking unit sits hulking, smoking, seething. Pipelines. The webwork crosses high and low, over and under, traffic and water and concrete, like veins, like gossamer, like neural circuitry. Lights everywhere, metal halide probing the riparian expanse from the crowns of each tower. Coded patterns of warm sodium and cold inhuman LEDs winking, thinking, knowing. Hello, Elinks. How are you doing today? It's good to see you. I'm checking out Norco here. Saying something, speaking, burning eyes, seeing. Which I've got to admit, I love the writing and tone of. I'm not a huge point-and-click adventure type of guy. You know, well, I'm not any type of guy. I'm a cephalopod, but you get the point. Something to decipher and all that Norco light. I remember Blue. You only think you do. When he died, part of her did too. I feel you there. I know I'm one of the earlier ones for now. Any other click keys here? Maybe. Your grandfather's statue of the Virgin Mary sits in the shadows along the crawl space of the house. I'm holding up pretty well. It's early in the morning, as you might have guessed, for me at least. And I'm checking out Norco and Signifier next in a bit. Oh, that is a slightly terrifying Virgin Mary. You observe the weathered concrete and flaking paint of the statue. Inspect further. Face is especially deteriorated, framed by a system of cracks. The face is terrifying, is what it is. You run your hands along the deteriorated contours of the statue. Ah, called it! Snaps off as if by design. Behind the statue's face hides an odd assemblage of electronics, carelessly soldered together. The center of the electronic configuration is what appears to be a card reader. Okay, so I've got to find a card. That's a thing. Okay, now how do I back out from there? Backyard crawl space inside streets. The overhead light of the neighbor's kitchen illuminates yellowing wallpaper and unused furniture. But I love the tone of this. I mean, obviously, I'm a spooky horror type of creature, but this is so well done. Your mom fed the neighborhood strays. They must be hungry since she passed. Can I feed the kitty? I guess I can't feed the kitty. 3 times this house is flooded. The first flood is a shadow of a memory, placing your feet down on drenched carpet. Your mom and grandpa ripping out sheetrock, sitting in a small RV in the backyard, setting dolls on a cluttered little table. The second flood, you were 14. The pumping station failed during heavy rain. I love spooky ambience. It's way harder to achieve than just punch a band with jump scares every 2 minutes. I am with you there. I'm of the firm opinion that jump scares are far overused and are cheating in the realm of horror. Because, I mean, you're banking on an instinctual reaction. You're not actually scaring anybody. You might as well hit somebody's knee with a hammer and be, shocked that their leg moves. You were in class watching clouds move upriver. You got a text message from your mom. Stay in Destrin, I'll come get you. For 2 weeks, you, Blake, and your mom shared a hotel room. She spent all her days gutting the house. In the evenings, you would sometimes help. Another pump failure. Your mom hired contractors with the insurance money. She said she was getting too old for it. You were bitter. You blamed her for not selling the house sooner. You stayed with friends in New Orleans. The fourth flood. The fourth flood will follow a slow hurricane, and it will be a calamity. Oh, are we predicting the future now? It will leave the entire region submerged as critical levees breach. There will be massive blackouts that last for weeks. Much of the sewage infrastructure will be damaged beyond repair. Sounds like Katrina. The embattled federal government will do nothing to assist. It will bankrupt the region. Small militant enclaves will form along the high ground of the Mississippi River. They will learn the craft of piracy and hijack commercial shipping vessels. Okay, maybe not Katrina, but still. Private mercenary forces will retaliate in kind. Slowly, industry will flee from the hot zone. The old river control structure will collapse from neglect and sabotage. The Mississippi River will again change its course. Norco, an old abandoned refinery town on a ghost of a river. Your house will be squatted, then razed. Ooh, chilly. Person. Million. Million sits in her characteristic slouched, lost in thoughts. Her carapace has taken on the rusted and weather-worn quality of the rest of the machinery in the yard. You recall the night that your mom showed up with her. You and Blake stayed up past dawn, poring over pirated API docs. Her ragdoll mask slumped on the floor as you wrote the routing procedure. Wonder if such memories hide behind her constellation of eyes. Robot regards you casually. Ooh. Interesting. Almost faceless. That is an interesting take. Kay, you're awake. The sound of the refinery did always help you sleep, didn't it? In any case, I'm certain I was no help. She gestures towards the motorcycle at the edge of the carpet. I was turning over the engine on that bike to test the coils. It was quite noisy, but they're in good shape now. All I need is a fuse, and we can use it to get around while I finish repairing the truck. I heard the phone ringing inside, but I had my hands full. Where can we get a fuse? The gas station just up the road has them, but you may have to persuade Troy to let you in. Are you expecting a call? Many people have been calling since Catherine died. Your brother is usually the one to answer the phone, but I don't know where he went off to. I don't know where he could be. Likely at the bar or bookstore if I had to guess. Your mother left behind a lot of loose ends. From what little I know, I gathered she was conducting research for a collector in the Métier. I sense that many people would like to acquire that data. I myself am unaware of where she has hidden it. Perhaps Blake knows of its whereabouts. Who exactly would want to see that data? Your mother spent her entire life researching this town. She knew histories that others have forgotten. History has a lot of value in this place. Who is this collector? I haven't a clue. These aren't things she discussed with me. As the cancer spread, she became more guarded with her research. I guess she finally worked herself to death. She had an addictive personality. There's no denying that. But she cared about you and your brother more than she was willing to express. So, anyway. That's all. Yeah, I love the tones and the colors. This whole thing is very well drawn and crabnet. A disintegrating crabnet. Blue taught your mom how to make these, and your mom taught you. Summers, you'd bike to the suction before sunrise, tie chicken necks to the bottom ring of your net, submerge it, sit there nursing your coffee while the swamp raised its voice. Come home with a dozen or so crabs, snapping and writhing in a burlap bag. You assume your mom hasn't been out on the water much this past year. The truck was your grandfather's. You remember riding in his lap while he let you steer. The dead wasps that collected behind the seat, the smell of grease and nicotine. You and Blake would drive the truck to New Orleans on the weekends. No AC, windows down. The rattling chassis was deafening going 75 on Interstate 10. Millions has slowly been repairing the vehicle since your mom's death. Do you have anything to say, Monkey? Nope. Your mom's pain medication spilled across the kitchen table. Discovered so many dead cockroaches in this microwave over the years that it's discouraged you from using it. For several months, a dead baby roach was stuck between the clock's display and the protective screen, blocking the hour. I actually had that happen once. It is disturbing. Blake finally shook the microwave aggressively enough that the roach fell into the guts of the machine. Yeah, I just got rid of it. Thankfully, microwaves are cheap enough nowadays. Into the laundry room, I suppose. I was frightened by the laundry room, though you were never understood why. Your mom's laundry, never to be folded. Letter from Shield Oil sits atop the stack of mail. Dear neighbor, please be advised. There will be an elevated flaring at the site of our number 5 stack near Good Hope on the evening of Thursday, March 19th. This will pose no health risk to residents. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact the Shield Norco Office of Community Engagement. Photo of your mom holding Blake as a baby in a beach in Pensacola, Florida. It's winter. You stand beside them, bundled up and laughing as a gust of wind rakes the beach. The sky is bone white. Oh yeah, the music is great. Very chilled with that atmospheric unsettling. Memories of sleepless twilights, the dull refinery hum and the halogen half-darkness. Your mom's sitting there staring through the window. There was a tension in her demeanor on those notes, as if you were interrupting some urgent and obligatory task. You'd continue to the kitchen with no words exchanged. I thought she hated me. She was thinking about Blue. She barely knew you were there. An old defective flat screen that your mom never bothered to bring to the curb. Turn on the television. Chaotic distortion of your mother's memories flashes before you. Tune in. Oh. Oh, well, this is terrifying. I love it. Okay, that seems to just... Oh, man. This is so cool. Anything else, or just the incredibly spooky? And back to normal. Nothing's happened. Nothing's going on. Nothing to see here. Yeah, this game is definitely a gem. The heat of late spring is weeks away, and the mildewed air of the window unit will soon fill the room. Man, for that TV section alone, this game. That was a place of patience. Yeah, that sounds about right. Bedroom. Okay. Living room. Back to the kitchen and up to the attic. There used to be much more clutter up here. Imagine your mom gave it away as the end approached. Not much up here at all. The turtle, he crawled out of the trash can. Don't touch him, see, he's dirty. No, he's not. Turtles are always clean. They live in the water. Trash water is not clean. We gotta go, see. Just let me stay a little longer. He's pretty. Ah, kids. Padu Private Investigators, we snoop for you. Lights are on at Pado's Private Investigators. You knock, no answer. The snowball stand is closed for the winter. Okay, here's the gas station where we needed to. So many evenings spent watching traffic pass by this corner store. Little has changed. The neighboring business still stands abandoned. The surrounding streets are quiet and empty. Well, well, well. Ah! You, sir, are terrifying. Look who's back. What happened? Carnival forget you beside the road? Pleasant fellow. You even brought your little doll. Hey, don't make fun of Monkey. Monkey will stare. Back because my mom died. You're not that stupid, are you? Catherine, she too was valuable. They'd never let her die. If anything, she's probably vacationing on a hard drive somewhere. You're trolling about my dead mom. Trolling? You're so damn sensitive. Can't say nothing around you. Your mom was excavating all along the rim of the lake. She used to pay me to help her from time to time, matter of fact. She needed somebody smart. Somebody vigilant. Especially with shields snooping around. She wanted truth over everything else. Just like me. I've seen some wild shit out in the swamps with Catherine. What kind of shit? I won't bother telling you about it. Might hurt your brain. Anyhow, this ain't story time. I'm not letting you into this gas station. Goddamn company that runs this dump did me dirty. They swapped me with a broken-ass ATM machine for speaking truth. Ain't letting nobody through till I get an apology, very least. That sucks. Don't patronize me with your weak pity. If you really want to get through, go get me some of them pills your brother was selling. That might persuade me. I'm not gonna fight. Yeah, shuffle off, dweeb. I get the distinct feeling fighting would be a poor decision. Alright, so let's go back home. Because there were pills on the kitchen counter. Oh. Blast. There we go, that's wrong. Pocket your mom's pills. I wonder what happens if I... Yeah, okay, trying to go to class list. Just get some creepy Virgin Mary. Greets. Got me them pills, only way you're getting through. Yeah, I got your pills. Smart move. I'll let you cross the picket line this time, punk. The disembodied illuminated head of the kiosk levitates silently in the browser tab. Uses. Grab a fuse. I like how it gently moves the screen in and out. It keeps it from feeling static. It's one of those little things. Little touches. I detect you have a fuse in your possession. You must purchase or return the item in order to exit the store. How may I help you? Buy the fuse. Please wait while I scan your wallet. $150 has been deducted from your wallet. Anything else in here? Dusty bags of dog food line the shelf. Can't buy it. But if cat food is an option, I'd love to buy it for you. Good evening. How may I help you? You know, Troy, that guy's. Thank you for your inquiry. I'm forwarding it to Parallax & Sons LLC. Parallax & Son LLC has declined to respond to your inquiry. I am Discountware, a distributed cloud-based operating system for American Discount Southeast Incorporated, semantic version number 16.3.3. The owner of this franchise is Parallax & Sons LLC. Discountware is licensed to Parallax & Sons LLC via the standard American Discount Southeast Incorporating licensing agreements. So why'd Troy get fired? American Discount Southeast Incorporated prides itself on its outstanding mentorship and jobs training program. American Discount Southeast Incorporated works to ensure that each franchise location provides opportunities for career growth. American Discount Southeast Incorporated franchise locations will leverage automation and machine learning technologies to enhance the lives of all employees. To apply for a position at any American Discount Southeast Incorporated franchise location, please visit American Discount C-Odyssey today. How do you like the job? I proudly perform the routine maintenance and operations procedures of 227 American Discount Southeast Incorporated franchise locations across the Southeast region. American Discount Southeast Incorporated is a model company awarded for excellence in business and community services. Thank you for inquiring about American Discount Southeast Incorporated. The writing in this is so good. I love it. Alright, so got the fuse. What's this over here? Oh. A memorial of detritus, languages in the river mud, a 2x4 cross, plywood plaque, cairns of pulverized concrete. Sprayed haphazardly onto the plywood is a remembrance. Here passed the brave freedom fighters of January. I don't know what W for Roman numerals is, whose cries of liberty echoed through the generations. Much smaller lettering, a different hand scratched fake news across the bottom of the plaque. I hate that fake news is a part of our lexicon now. A lone horse drinks from the stagnant water pooled along the riverbank. A man sits on a pile of flotsam stranded ashore, his head buried in his canvas jacket against the sharp air. A dumb horse, that one. Man's gaze stays fixed on the opposite bank of the river, never turning towards you nor the horse. So, another small detail that I appreciate, and this is just one of those, while it's not written, the boop bops or banjo kazooie noises let you know the tone and the sound that's to be expected from the character you're speaking to, which then allows you to mentally reconstruct the voice, which is a neat trick. Yeah, he spits in the dirt at his feet. You know that all they dump in that water? Hell of a cocktail. Spits again, wiping a string of mucus onto his sleeve. What are you out here for anyhow? Ain't you heard they got a criminal on the loose? Bringing the law around here, making things harder for the rest of us. Criminal? Old man running around making mischief. Best be sharp, young one. Oh, thank you, Driver. We're gonna leave now. Film crews set up along River Road. Several floodlights surround a depiction of a gruesome murder scene. Two men stand pensively above a corpse. First said, as you near the set, a small, energetic man jumps from his chair. Attention, dumbass! Can't you see we're trying to shoot here? What are you filming? It's a detective drama called None of Your Goddamn Business. Any other question? Sounds cool, so is this like a murder scene? Keep it up and it's gonna be. Hey, you know what? Wait a second. You from around here? Yeah. We could use some cultural expertise, you might say. We'll film it at a Bayou cop drama. All these knuckleheads are from Brooklyn. Actor on set turns towards the director. I told you, Kevin, I'm from Texas. Just because your Harvard-educated daddy bought you a boutique ranch outside of Austin doesn't make you a cowboy hoss. Now hush up before you scare off the yokel. The director returns his attention to you with a mild look of disgust. Help us out, will you? The script needs some work. What do you say? Sure. Great. Hey, no, get over here so you can learn something from this stupid redneck. The actor smolders. He whispers under his breath. I'm a redneck. Fine, Noah. You're a redneck, a real salt-of-the-earth kind of guy. But as luck would have it, we came across an even dumpier hayseed than you, okay? So just take a knee, all right? Anyway, we need some good slang. What do you call a villain, a bad apple, a lowlife? Huh. You know what? We're gonna try it. Dun, 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 dun. Crawfish devil? You nod solemnly. Wow. Now that is some spicy Louisiana shit right there. Did you get that, Noah? Write that shit down. Crawfish devil. Damn, that's good. That's sultry. Who says that? No one says that. No one at Juilliard says it, Noah, but we're down here in the muck. I've been hearing all kinds of people say it down here. Just slipped my mind. Great, that's so. One more thing. What's a more regional way of saying to murder, to kill? Oh, I'm really tempted. I don't want to screw it up, but let's go for it. Boop 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 boop. Oyster flavored peanut butter? You maintain eye contact with severe intensity. Jesus, that's vile. That's repulsive. Just like this fucking place. I absolutely love it. Noah. Yes. Slather them with the oyster flavored peanut butter. Got it? Yeah. Well, I'm satisfied. Oh, I love it. The Simon Says notations was kind of cool too. Crawfish devil slathered up another poi bastard with the oyster flavored peanut butter. Sends a shiver down my spine. You're not really gonna make me say this, are you? This is how real people speak, Noah. This is how people talk outside Silver Lake, you understand? Real people out here saying weird gross shit all the time, so memorize that line. Because that line is gonna win me a Golden Globe. Oh, director half remembers your presence. Thank you for reminding me how good I am at sourcing talent. I always had a knack for it. Guess I owe you one. If you need anything, talk to Noah or somebody else on set. Just don't bother me. Or get lost. I'm sure that'll come up later. Oh, man. The Floodgate Cavern. Many shield workers gather here after their shift. It's closed. Should be opening later in the evening. You got the fuse. Good. We'll be able to use the bike to get around town until I'm done with the truck. It concerns me that Blake still hasn't returned. He's been spending a lot of time at the bookstore in Denstrom lately. Perhaps we should ride by and look for him. Yeah, let's go. The sky bleeds a color you knew as a child. Airline highway passes beneath your feet. Yes. Young man leans against the station wagon while scrolling idly on his phone, his silhouette darkened by the fluorescent glare of the payday lender sign. Stocky pit bull with piercing green eyes watches the horizon with a neutral demeanor. Pookie, are you reached down to pet the dog? She shows her teeth and growls sharply. See, this is why I wanted to buy the dog food. Two-teen nods and gesture excitedly while bouncing between topics. Where's this dog came from, bruh? Dunno, she's been sitting here for a while. You seen her eyes? Them eyes are something, bruh. You wonder how anyone can read in this dim and cluttered bookshop. Your eyes adjust. You see Blake's childhood friend, Erica, waiting behind the counter to greet you. Kay? And Million, when do you get back to town? I've been in Norco for quite some time. Perhaps you're misremembering, Erica. Weird, I guess so. But anyhow, Kay, you're looking rugged these days, old friend. It's a pretty intense scar above your eye. Got it before I left town. The minute you return, you're right back in the mix, huh? Heard you ran into Troy. That guy, my God, he's such a clown. I was keeping up with your travels on Insta, but I haven't seen you post in a while. So much to tell you. I can only imagine. Would you like to grab a drink sometime and hear all about it? Or would love to grab a drink. For what it's worth, some things have been pretty wild around here as well. Floods, fires, gunfights out in the lake. Rarely a dull moment these days. And of course, your mom was always in the mix. I'm convinced she never slept. I'd be coming in late from the city and swear to God I'd see her alongside Airline. She'd have a headlamp on, dredging trash out of the borrowed ditch. Till the very end, she never let her illness stop her. I'll miss the hell out of that woman. Oh yeah? No, it wasn't always easy between you two. I was around for some of those arguments. Blake would say she was a great person, but a terrible mom. Just hope you and your brother can find some ease and comfort. That means a lot. Thank you. Of course, I lost my dad a while back, also to cancer. He's a mean bastard. Picked up my sister and threw her one time. Ended up giving her a concussion. Couldn't wait for him to die. When he did, I danced. But as the years passed, I find myself thinking about him more and more. Feels good to hear stories about him. It's always complicated with this shit. Never easy. Worry about your brother. Your mother's illness was taking a toll on him. Watched him slip back into some bad behaviors. Have you seen Blake lately? Yeah, some just yesterday. Stopped by for a while before heading to the bar. Hasn't been around the house? He has not. He said he was heading to the Floodgate Cavern yesterday when I saw him. Knew they'd let him sleep behind the bar a couple of times. He may have just gotten wasted. Somebody over there is bound to know something. Did he know you were coming, Kate? He never mentioned it. I figured he'd try to avoid me if I had told him. Yeah, he can be like that sometimes. I've had to be delicate with him these past few months. If I ask him how he's doing, he goes quiet. If I offer to help with anything, he doesn't return my texts. It's a front. He wants help. For sure, but I can only try so hard. Good luck. So this is the illustrious Crouton. We found him out behind the dumpster. Found him behind the dumpster out back, licking cardboard. Whatever you do, don't try to pet him. He's a devil. Got scars all over my hands from this damn cat. Must attempt to pet kitty. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, wow. Crouton usually bites strangers. He must like you. Why did that go up by one? Boop, 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 boop. Seems to be getting a little excited. Oop. Ouchie. Oop. I looked away for a second there. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Now, I've never seen a cat purr this hard. Maybe you two should slow down. Can't stop, won't stop. Nope. Damn, I'm going to pet this cat. Nope. I don't know why I clicked that one. I knew better. Oh, that was an easy pattern. No, really, stop touching the cat. Your tongue looks like he's fixing to explode. Must pet cat. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, timed. Okay. Oh, drat. What the fuck just happened to the cat? Okay, god damn it, I told you to stop fucking with the cat. Did he just launch the ceiling? What the hell just happened? I don't know what happened either, but I love it. What the fuck? Oh. Oh. Oh.